So, what is case study? So, what do you understand about case study?
Researching on a
It's like
topic or an incident.
Yeah. Come on, I need answers. Let's be discussing here.
like knowing in depth how some particular company have started or how it evolved and what is the situation in present and what are its future perspectives or how it is going to evolve, something like that, in detail about the company
Yes,
or
studying.
anything else also.
Yeah, it is just studying a case. And believe me, you
Mm.
don't have to be an MBA graduate or maybe a person who is studying business. You can be a student of any subject or any discipline. And you want to study something, you just have to do research, get into the depth of it, understand it. That is a cup of tea for engineering students as well as technical students, because that's what the technical students do. They get into the roots and they find out each and everything associated with the topic. So, case study, it is going to help you to dig out any topic, because when you do that, you can really present it in an exceptional way, because you know the cause and effect. So whenever you know the cause and effect, believe me, your presentation is really going to be powerful one. You can connect it to the roots, to the fruits. I mean, from the roots to the to the fruits, you can actually connect. And there is a story, and that's what makes people, know, becoming more interesting about the topic or maybe whatever you're going to do there. So let's get into the subject of case study. We have content like this. First is introduction. We got roadmap. Real stories are there. I mean, I'm not going to give stories here, but real stories, that is a content here. And relevance of the topic, or maybe case study, application, call for action, end of the story. This is the session we are going to deal today. And it's going to be a very short session, and I believe it's going to be effective.
Yes, sir.
So introduction, this is the introduction. You can follow the slides as I'm giving here. So you need to have follow time introduction to any topic, because you don't need to mention introduction, but actually you need to introduce the topic. Here I mentioned because I'm teaching you a methodology, how to do it. You need to pick a problem to solve any case or to do a case study. Problem, it doesn't mean it is a concrete problem. Problem is something you need to study and you need to find a solution for it. So a situation or an incident, whatever it is, you need to pick it up, and it should be worth considering. If you don't pick a really good problem, you can't arrive at a real solution, whatever it is. It may be theoretical or practical, or maybe just an imaginative word or concept. Still, you need to pick which is going to be worth considering. So here, study the problem, understand what is the reason of it, why it is, how it is. So if you study a problem, you will exactly get to know what it is. So diagnosing it. Next, analyze the solution. So when you do a case study, you're not exactly copying what is there in a case to your problem. Okay. So before getting into a case study, let me tell you there are, two ways. Like you're doing a case study just for information or knowledge. And second thing, you're doing a case study to apply it to your problem because you have a serious problem. So you want to apply that methodology or maybe that solution to your problem and solve it. For example, when you watch YouTube videos, right? You know that
Yes, yes, sir.
when you watch YouTube videos, what happens? Why you watch YouTube videos with particular tools or something? Because you see you need to fix something in your system, or maybe you want to do something editing or maybe writing, and you want to know how to do it. So go to directly YouTube and understand it and bring it. So there is no, you're not actually modifying anything. You're applying the solution as it is. So it is direct methodology. You're not actually modifying the formula or modifying the solution, just applying it to your problem. And here, every time when you get a solution from a history or maybe a problem which you're studying, because you want to solve your problem, you're studying a previous problem which was solved earlier successfully with different solutions, and you need to analyze that solution. You just cannot take it because it is bound to time and space, and it is bound to situation, it is bound to people, culture, and it is bound to the system. So you need to analyze whether that solution is applicable to your problem. If the methodology is applicable, if the procedure is applicable, the theory is applicable, or maybe the nuances or anything, the thing you may like there, it may be applicable. You have to pick it up from there, analyze it, and you have to apply a solution which suits the best to you and to your problem. So this actually allows a mechanism in you which improves a problem solving skill in you. You're not a kid just took something and applied it here. So actually here you analyze the solution and apply it to your problem. If you see the kids in the nursery or maybe kindergarten, what they do actually, they're given with they're given toys to build something whatsoever. They're actually building the way they want, and if nobody teaches them how to build something, they will build the way they want, and it actually helps them to visualize or maybe imagine without any prior pattern. But if you teach them how to build it, they'll understand how to build it in a manner which is taught to them. But if you leave them, I think they will have their own way of thinking at building of those toys or maybe buildings, whatever they're doing. They have different understanding, and I think it will take a lot of time for them. But to avoid the complications, what the society does, so that society teaches them in the beginning. So that becomes like a pattern. So most of the students will understand things only if it is taught to them. If you really know, how many of us are really good at self studies? Hardly few, right? Because we have been used to the training, we have been used to the teaching, we have been used to demonstrations. So once we get that, we understand it because we hardly did self study, we hardly explored things. So problem solving skills in us are less. That's why if you also see the drive in us towards the job, we want what? We want job because we are not good at creating jobs. We are good at getting jobs. Somewhere we didn't get used to the creativity. We got used to the, practiced activities. So we just practiced it. Somewhere problem solving skill did not develop amongst us due to some educational problems or maybe whatever people didn't actually work on. So this is just introduction for how to do a case study. Just pick a case which is relevant or maybe very correlative to your problem, and study that carefully and see the problem what they found, and understand the solution they applied, in which way they applied, and see whether that solution can be applied to yours. Very simple. Don't scratch the head. I believe it's understood. Any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Going ahead, roadmap. So how we are going to do it? First thing is, you have to do it. You have to have a problem to go for a case study. As I told you, there are two ways. One thing is you're going to be applying the solution. Another thing is you're going to study it just for the knowledge sake. So when you're going for the knowledge sake, the problem you're not defining because there is no problem with you. You're not found any problem. But believe me, the problem is inherent. The problem is not defined, but it is present with you. Why do you want particular thing? If you don't like it, you will never watch it because you have a craving for it. So that craving has to be satisfied. So that itself is a problem. So you're finding a solution to the problem. You always look at something as a completion. Something is completing something. Something is happening somewhere, and you find cause and effect, relation there, and you also receive something from anything you watch or anything you read. you want to connect to that. So that in that sense, it is very theoretical. It is not really considerable to define a problem. Okay, if anybody asks you why are you watching this movie, I just like it. You can't explain why you're watching the movie, but actually you are really inspired by the movie. You actually love the movie. That means, don't you have the problem? That is inherent, you can't define it. So every problem or everything whatever we study or read or watch, it actually attracts us. That means something is there in us that is correlating to that thing and it completes us. And we want to get something from that. Even sometimes if you see some, movies, people have watched something or read something, and later in their lives, the solution provided in that movie or in that book, they can apply in their lives. So this is knowledge, but later it becomes a practical one. So the first two steps, I think, if it can be applied only if you got a real problem. Study the case with respect to your problem. If you don't have any problem with you just studying the case for the knowledge purpose, then first two things are not applicable. But if you're really having a problem, that really becomes like a real people, those who really solve the problems. And I appreciate you guys, all of you, to go through this because I don't want you just to do a case study for the sake of doing case study. I want you to pick up a problem and solve it because we always believe in doing it and we always believe in practicing it. So study the case with respect to your problem. I talked with all our, with this point, in the previous slide. Next is understand the situation and solution with the time and space. So we can't just apply the solution. The solution is always bound to the people, bound with the time and space, bound with the cultures and situations. So it is your capacity, how you modify it and how you understand it. It is expected from every genuine human being that one processes the idea and understands and applies in one's capacity in the best way possible. Be realistic and anticipate any outcome. Be realistic. We actually take Elon Musk's example most of the times. Why? Because he has achieved something which other human beings have not done in the contemporary times. And what he always says is be open to any outcome. It may be failure, maybe success, but be open to that. But if you really expect only success, you're going to be disappointed. You're not going to be okay because you may not find the outcome as you expect. Maybe the success may not come immediately. There may be failures. And when you go for case study or maybe problem solving, you should welcome the mistakes or maybe failures. If you're not in that environment where your failures are not accepted or appreciated, because in the course of finding something, you'll definitely go through failures, isn't it? So be in the environment where they appreciate you to try new things because trial and error method is going to be the realistic method. Others are not really realistic.
Yes, sir.
So real stories, as I said, real stories. I'm not going to provide you real stories here, but actually what we have is first point, human beings share same unconscious. So this is when it comes to psychology, people know that why we study other cases, why we read the novels or books or businesses or some success stories of other people. Why? Because we know if they can do, we also can do. That is, we share that capacity, we share that human being abilities. So we share the same unconscious. That means if they can do, we can do. That belief system becomes possible. That is the main reason we watch a lot many movies from different countries, different cultures, and even most of the people in India are so much uh, got used to Korean dramas. So and some like action series. So people actually think they may not function in reality, but at least they feel that those ideas cater to the needs, cater to the cravings that the people have from this culture. So we share that belief system that if they can do, we also can do. That builds the bridge. That's why we pick the stories and study them clearly. Second thing is, when you study the stories, are you really ready to solve the problem or just you're studying? If it is really going to be solving, then you have to pick it up. Otherwise, go forward. Then the last 3 points that they're going to help you in any situation. First 2 points are going to help only if you're solving a problem. Otherwise, last 3 points are going to help you. Just study the inception. Inception is something which how it started, how company started, how the idea started. When you understand this, ideas do start in an unexpected way. So there is not, you can't find the final product there. You can't find the final output because it is very raw. And you understand that they started, and it also inspires you that you can start it too. You can do it too because nothing is very sophisticated. Everything is raw and very common. So study the inception, how it started. It also brings about the influence or maybe the struggles they went through or maybe what actually prompted them to start it. Okay, that actually makes us connect. That makes us understand that they're also like us and they had struggles too and they didn't give up. Understand the problem and why. Understand their problem, why the problem came, and what what is the problem. And as an outsider, you don't feel emotionally attached to the problem, but you see like a person who solves it from outside. When you go to a doctor, what happens? Doctor doesn't get involved with you emotionally. Or you're sick, so he doesn't cry if you're sick. Even patient is dying, doctors don't cry because they're not emotionally attached to the patient. They see from the outside point of view. You just see the problem and why. So very reasonable. You'll be able to understand it could have been this way, it could have been that way, because you're not involved in the problem, but you'll be able to see the connection, why it happened, and examine the solution that they provided, they came up with. Sometimes, as an outsider, you can also see multiple solutions they could have applied and could the problem could have been solved in a very short span, or they didn't try it, or problem uh, could have been avoided, or they took the best solution, whatever it is. So you have to examine the solution. You should not always think that they took the best decision. There may be chances for doubts and chances for they could have tried something else because human beings, we have choices. So always examine the solutions because that makes you a better evaluator. Now comes the relevance. So what is the relevance? Why are you picking that problem? The reason behind case study. Why are you doing that? As I quoted earlier, it is either for information or motivation, right? You can do it for that purpose. Second is you want to apply that solution to your problem and you want to solve your problem. There are only two intentions behind a case study, and it is left to you why you want to do a case study. I always insist do for second one. I mean, first one is always required because you need for having an information, because if you got an information only you think of, oh, there was something like this. When you come to the legal things, lawyers, they study the previous cases. And when they are solving the present cases, they always go back to the previous case solved in particular high court or particular district court or particular Supreme Court. So they always state that so and so year, so and so case was solved in particular way. So connecting that with today's case, the same can be applied. So having the information is going to help you. You may study it for information sake, but always have a motivation to apply it to a problem you're facing that is going to become more practical. Now comes how you're going to apply the solution here. You can apply directly to your problem. As I said, through the YouTube videos, you watch something, you understand, and you apply it to the problem you're facing. Second is you need to modify. It is left to you. Third is you need to build new solutions based on the theory. That means based on the procedure they have followed or based on the techniques, ideas they followed, you can develop your own solution. It is left to you. It is your capacity. And whatever is best for you, you directly apply. It's fine. If you want to modify, it's fine. If you want to build it up, again, it's fine. But always believe that things are going to get not as you expected, but unexpected outcomes will be there. Anticipate failures all the time. It's something which society doesn't teach you, but doesn't appreciate also well. But you must be very clear that you should anticipate the failures. Be ready to try new methods and ways to solve the problem. the first thing here is you need to be a scientist. Scientists have a lot many failures, and you need to be patient. You need to be, calm and keep trying, keep trying, keep trying. The problem in today's world is everybody's focusing on success and achievement because everybody posts only those things, and we feel so insecure that we are not able to do it. And that is a very, psychological competition that we cannot fail. And failure pushes us so back that we don't even get up again. So be a scientist. You have to get, you can't be crowd animal. You need to be scientific and you need to be individual here. So, set up your room, set up your table, start working. There will be, mistakes. Go with them. And if it's not applicable, if it's not solving the problem, discard it, come up with a new one, try it out, and practice patience. This builds patience in you. This actually builds you in the long run. So don't be a receiver. This is what I'm asking you, not to be a receiver. Because when you receive, as I said, you're not going to be okay because you depend on the luck, you depend on somebody's providence, you depend on somebody's, you know, mercy or maybe somebody's compassion. Not required all the time. Sometimes you can get it. You can get it too. So you try and work it out and finalize it. That's what the difference between the doer and the receiver. The person who does it, he can do the things for himself, but the receiver always anticipates and expect that somebody gives me something. And if somebody doesn't give, you're not going to save yourself. And last point is don't be a people pleaser, because if you're really finding a solution to something, sometimes you cannot please everybody. And if you want going to please people, solution cannot be applied. Either you need to be objective and scientific, otherwise you're going to lose the battle. You found a solution, but somebody is not receiving it. Somebody is not allowing you to apply that. What's the point? Right? So don't please the people, because you have to fight to apply the solution, because some people will not allow you to apply the solution because they don't want the problem to be solved. It's going to be that way. So don't be a people pleaser. Call for action. This is the action plan for you guys. Now visualize the problem or think about a problem what you want to solve. Write it down. When you write it down, it becomes very clear. Analyze the solution. I mean, you can think about a solution, what can be done, or just go through the solution patterns, maybe understand or find a new solution for yourselves. Apply and evaluate. Apply and evaluate, because things are going to be not as you expect. Things are going to turn in an unexpected way. So evaluate. And if it's not applicable, try again new one. That's why I said be a scientist. Don't get discouraged when things don't work. Try new methodology. Clear? So for today, as I said, Thursday session is going to be call for action session. I mean, what you have done. Find a problem, write it down, and think about a solution. Apply and evaluate. You have only 2 days. Within 2 days, you have to do it. I know you have internals from next week or this week.
Sir, next week.
11, sir. From 11.
And believe me, as I said, don't be a receiver. The people, those who are receivers, they're afraid all the time to try things. And, there was aptitude class. Students are quoting next week there is internals. So we are going to study from today. So we can't attend the aptitude class. Believe me, I was laughing at them because if you ask Nandini and Sahana last time when you guys had the university exam, they used to have classes. So they got used to that pressure moment. Even pressurizing situation doesn't pressurize them up to that extent. Yeah, definitely it pressurizes, but not up to that extent. I think they believe in themselves that they can get through things. So that has built a capacity which otherwise would not be possible, because they were just like them, like stating that exam is there, we have to study, exam is there, we have to study. But exam is, next week. But what these guys went through, it was something difficult, because exam is there the same day. They come back and study and attend the class again. prepare for the exam, go for the exam. They never miss the class during the exam time also. And I insisted this methodology, and it worked out well. So that's what built them in a different way, the confidence they have, and even in a tense situation, they can handle it because they handle pressure. Because students go through a lot of pressure through exams. If they can get through that, I think that is sufficiently better capacity building activity. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So pick a problem.
Sir, I really,
What?
can I
Yes, Sahana.
can I speak, sir?
Yeah.
Sir, I really feel like at this moment I am joining all the dots because when Krishna ma'am sent us to IKP Eden, that hackathon, ideathon, sorry, there they gave a problem. They gave a problem, and we have to find the solution. And now, from starting slide to the ending slide, I can find everything. Oh, this is the way that we have to find a solution for that. We don't know. Not Nandini she had a good personality at that time. I was so dumb. I was just sitting at some edge. And now when I see, okay, fine, this is case study, something that already happened to me, and now I'm realizing, oh, this is called something. And as I told you, I think in the starting of the session, I told you about some company we are finding a solution. Absolutely not, because as you told, we are finding your own problem and getting solution. If it fail, also trying many ways. Like for example, now we are starting the classes for the rural people. Their situations are not clear. Even the founder is also confused. How do we start? Till what time do we extend this? These are the problem that we have to sit and solve. We might get fail.
I think
Again,
so.
we have
1
to do
minute,
it by
I'm
ourselves.
interrupting you because we need one more link. I think one of you can send the link because
Yeah.
my expires now. Okay.
I'll send it, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sana, keep your points. We'll discuss there.
I'm done already.
No, we have something to discuss over it.
Yeah, sure.